Everybody, so for today, one big thing that will be very helpful is anytime you have the opportunity to color code to match things, that's going to help a ton. So C and F, they both have the one arc sign showing congruence. E and G both have the two arc signs showing congruence. And then conveniently, our last terms D and H don't have that, but they are the only terms that are left over. So when we go to write our congruent statement for these triangles, setting up our template here, we can start with C and F, they both match. Then we can go to D and H. We can finally finish with E and G. So again, big idea here is we want to make sure that everything is lined up. We're matching those colors and the correct term is written in the correct order. For the second part, pretty similar. We are looking for triangles that have some similarities between them. And one thing that we're going to notice here is that we don't want to just jump to conclusions based off of one factor that is the same. So if we look for right angles, we're going to see that we have multiple triangles that have right angles in them. So we want to be careful with how we're matching these up. So the easiest way to do this is to look for triangles that have exactly the same symbols. So if we're looking for a right angle, one congruent symbol, and then two congruent symbols, we can see a right angle, one congruent symbol, and then two congruent symbols. So our matching here, this one matches with the third one down here. For the second one, kind of similar. We go from one angle that's congruent to a right angle to a side that's congruent. So an angle that's congruent to a right angle to a side that's congruent. So even though these don't face in the same direction, they have the same markings in the same order. So as long as that is the case, then we know that they are congruent triangles. I'm here, one angle, one side to two angle marks, one angle, one side to two angle marks. We're going to see that these also match up. So when matching, just make sure that all of the pieces match when you're working through. Last step and the last question when you work through this on the skill check in a moment, is you will have a proof to finish. We always want to start off with our two reasons for given. So QPS and RSP, that's our first given statement, and Q equal to R, that is our second given statement. The third statement, we don't even actually have to necessarily look at our triangle, but if we see that PS is equal to PS down the center, anything equal to itself, that is a reflex. So that is the reflexive property. You'll find that in your old proof property notes. Those are one of the ones where if you ever see something written as equal to exactly itself, so not equal to something else, but exactly itself, you can always use the reflexive property. So for the last part, PQS equal to SRP. So if we color code this, P, Q, and then S. So that's one triangle is from P to Q to S. And the second triangle, I'll do this with squares. So the R, I'll put the R in a square, put the S also in a square, and then we can put the P also in a square. So we can now write out our final triangle congruent statement. So we know that triangle, we'll start with Q and R because those are the most straightforward ones. So Q and R, and then we can go the circle around P in this one to the box around S in this one, and then the circle around S matching with the box around P. So QPS equal to RSP, and then for this one we can use our CPC-TC property. Congruent parts of congruent triangles, or corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So that is the proof for today. Again, relying on some old properties, some new properties, but putting everything together, we can get our final